And he's the longest serving Lord Mayor of Brisbane, 14 years. And it would have been longer except Darwin got hit by Cyclone Tracy and he was put in charge of the reconstruction of Darwin. And Clem would often come to functions, and he was going to come to a Russian night we were having in, just before Christmas of 2007 when he passed away, unfortunately. But there were two organisations in Brisbane in the 1960s, early 70s, the Queensland Museum Society and the Astronomical Society of Queensland, as it was then. They were both approaching wanting a planetarium in our city and really not getting very far until they went to Clem Jones. And Clem and his wife Sylvia, who was also supportive, pushed it through. There was some opposition, but we got our planetarium, as I said, opened in 1978. So we owe a lot to Clem Jones in that way, and he was a great Lord Mayor, and a lot of things he was involved in, charities and for youth and those sort of things in our city. I said there are two cities in Brisbane, or two city town. There's our city, there's one in California, on the south side of San Francisco. And some years ago I wanted to find out, is that Brisbane named for Sir Thomas Brisbane? But they really don't know themselves, definitely. The two different ideas are they were named for us, our city, and the second version is they were named for a journalist called Brisbane. So we, as far as we know, are the only city named for Sir Thomas. Sir Thomas's work in Australia, getting back to that, he built his observatory, and I think you all know Comet Halley. Comets were observed, and Halley centuries ago predicted that there was actually a comet that was the same one appearing. He did his predictions that it would come back in the late 1750s. He died before then, but that was picked up and confirmed that his prediction was correct. The orbit of Halley, it was the same comet returning. And the second comet that was ever done for was Comet Encke in the early 19th century. So astronomers were on the lookout for Comet Encke to see if it indeed would reappear as predicted. And the only people on this planet that actually picked it up and tracked it, got positional information, were the people in the Brisbane Observatory at Parramatta in New South Wales. So it sort of put Brisbane's observatory on the map in the 1820s. And they discovered comets, but Brisbane, Sir Thomas wasn't just into astronomy, he was into meteorology down there in the colony, also the shape of our planet, various other scientific things. So he was pretty broadly based in his interests there, as well as the colony. Some people think he didn't run it the best, but there was quite a lot of accolade when he did leave for what he had achieved, bringing in trial by jury, and farmlands expanded by more than 100% while he was there, and there were many other things. Exploration, which is how we ended up with the Brisbane River. Exploration was continued up the coast, and then our city had finally established on the Brisbane River. And originally for convicts to be sent up there, but eventually free settlers came up, and our city is actually quite young. Even though we had settlers coming from the 1820s, Brisbane really didn't become officially a city until 1859. So we just celebrated our 150th year officially, and also the state in 2009. And 3 years before that, I thought it would be a nice idea to have an asteroid named for Brisbane, both our city and for Sir Thomas. So there's someone I contacted who's from this area, in fact, just down the road, about 20 kilometres from Largs, Rob McNaught. And for many years he's worked at an observatory site in Spring in New South Wales, and his passion is really trying to find things that will wipe us out, potentially, asteroids or comets that are going to impact on us. And he's discovered a lot of asteroids. And so I contacted him in August of 2006 and said, Rob, would you mind naming one of your asteroids for us? You can't actually name an asteroid for yourself or for other things. Comets, if you discover a comet, it's named for you. If you discover an asteroid, you can suggest a name to the International Astronomical Union. So we talked about it, and he said, yeah, of course, I'm from that area, and no problem, just let me know. And he gave me a list of different asteroids, and we ended up picking one of the lowest numbers we could find that he had, because we know of hundreds of thousands of asteroids now. But all the early ones are usually named, but we got about almost as low as you can get of an unnamed asteroid. So we kept that secret because one of the things is if you let it out of the bag, the International Astronomical Union doesn't go ahead with it. And they like their circular to go out, which really only goes out to astronomers anyway. So in September of 2009 we moved on that, and unfortunately we found out at that time that it would take at least 3 months, we might miss 2009. But Rob knew the head of that area that does the naming, and so we got a message through, and he said, no, we'll do it in 1 month. So in early October of 2009, it was officially announced. In fact, it went out. I contacted our Lord Mayor, which I'm not meant to do direct, but I never follow the rules. So I contacted him quietly and discreetly and said, don't let anyone know that we're having this done. You might want to announce it in early October. So we threw it to him. Actually, it got tremendous publicity in Queensland. It was just after the Bathurst 1000 car race. So the news on a particular channel, everyone was watching that, and we had a huge number. And we were one of the lead items in the news straight after the race. So that helped as well. So we got the asteroid name for Brisbane. It's probably several kilometres across, just out past the orbit of Mars and the main asteroid belt. It will not head to us and wipe us out, so we're quite safe from Brisbane. And there's also a crater on the moon named for Sir Thomas, probably about 40-something kilometres across, and various other things named for him. So we have a lot of links there, and it was lovely to have that citation, wrote the citation which mentions Sir Thomas as well, and Rob McNaught, the discoverer of that asteroid. Where to now? I really wasn't expecting to give any lecture or a talk tonight. In fact, I thought at best, a couple of weeks ago I was thinking if I come to London, I'll just come and do a quick trip here and wander around, and that would be it. I never knew that it would be like visiting 4 schools today and going to the property and doing this